Good morning, everyone. I'm here today to ask for just 11 minutes of your time. In return, I promise this. If you listen closely, take this to heart, and act on what we're about to discuss, 2025 will be your best year yet. Now, I know you're probably thinking 11 minutes, that's it? But let me ask you this. How much time do we spend on things that don't contribute to the future we want? How much of your energy is spent on distractions, things that keep you from reaching your potential? What if, instead of adding more to your schedule, you could do just one thing that completely shifts the direction of your life? What if that one thing was as simple as focusing on the right habits, on the right mindset for the next 11 minutes? I believe that transformation doesn't always need a grand revelation. Sometimes it only takes a shift in perspective, a spark that can turn into an inferno of change. And it starts here with you. Success doesn't come by chance. It's not something that just happens because you work hard enough or wait long enough. It's a result of clarity, of knowing exactly where you want to go and understanding why you want to get there. Without clarity, without a clear direction, the effort you put in becomes scattered, like a boat drifting aimlessly in the ocean with no destination. It's the difference between being busy and being productive, between running in place and moving towards something that matters. The truth is, the problem isn't that people don't work hard enough. They do. People are working harder than ever, investing long hours, making sacrifices, doing everything they can to succeed. But despite all of this, so many are still stuck, unsure, overwhelmed. Why? Because they're not sure what success looks like for them. They don't have clarity on what they're working toward. They may have dreams, but those dreams are often vague, unformed, and lacking the kind of focus that turns them into reality. Research from Harvard University tells a compelling story. They found that only 3% of graduates had written goals. 3%. When the researchers revisited these individuals a decade later, they discovered something profound. The 3% who had written down their goals were earning 10 times more than the other 97% combined. 10 times more. Not because they worked harder, but because they had clarity. They had a target. They knew exactly what they wanted, and that knowledge gave them a focused energy, a power that the others didn't have. Think about that for a moment. It's not that the other 97% of graduates were lazy. They weren't. They had dreams and ambitions just like the 3%. But they were missing something crucial. They were working without a compass, without a roadmap. And as a result, they spent years drifting, hoping they'd eventually get to somewhere meaningful. But without a clear target, there's no way to measure progress. And without progress, there's no sense of fulfillment. This is why clarity is the starting point for success. When you define what you want, you don't just give yourself a destination, you give yourself a reason to keep going. You give yourself something to aim for when the days get tough. And let's be honest, the days will get tough. There will be obstacles, setbacks, challenges that seem insurmountable. But when you have clarity, when you know exactly what you're aiming for, those obstacles become part of the journey rather than roadblocks that stop you in your tracks. Take a moment right now. Ask yourself, what does success look like for you in 2025? What is the best version of yourself? Is it a healthier body, stronger relationships, a thriving business, or perhaps a deeper sense of fulfillment? Whatever it is, you need to define it. You need to write it down, make it real. The power of writing things down is more than just making a note. It's the act of committing your vision to paper, of giving your mind something concrete to work toward. When you define success, you set a standard for yourself. You create a vision that pulls you forward, something that excites you and challenges you. It gives you the clarity you need to make decisions. When opportunities come your way, you can ask yourself, does this move me closer to my goal? If it doesn't, you can let it go without hesitation. Clarity helps you make better choices because it aligns your actions with your ultimate purpose. But clarity is more than just about having a goal. It's about understanding why that goal matters. It's easy to say, I want to be healthier, or I want to build a successful business. But those are just vague statements. The power comes when you dig deeper. Why do you want to be healthier? Is it so you can be there for your family, so you can feel more energized and alive? Why do you want to build a business? Is it to have the freedom to live life on your own terms, to provide for others, or to create something meaningful that lasts? When you define your why, you tap into a deeper well of motivation. It's no longer just about achieving something, it's about becoming someone. The clearer you are about why something matters, the more relentless your drive becomes. It's not about the destination alone. It's about the journey and the transformation that happens within you as you strive toward your goals. Think about the impact of clarity, not just on your personal life, but on the world around you. People who know where they're going don't just change their own lives, they inspire and elevate everyone they come into contact with. They lead by example. They become beacons of possibility, showing others what's possible when you decide to define your success and pursue it relentlessly. Their clarity gives them a sense of purpose that others can feel. It creates a ripple effect that moves through their families, communities, and even their workplaces. And that's how change happens, one person at a time. With each of us stepping up and showing the world what's possible when we live with intention. The challenge, however, is that clarity isn't always easy to find. It requires reflection, introspection, and a willingness to be honest with yourself. It's not about following someone else's definition of success. It's about finding your own. It's about being brave enough to ask, what do I truly want? What do I want to create? What kind of life do I want to live? Clarity isn't something that comes from external circumstances. It comes from within. It comes when you take the time to look at your values, your passions, your strengths, and your weaknesses. It comes when you align your actions with who you truly are and what you truly want to achieve. And that's the kind of clarity that makes all the difference. It's the kind of clarity that gives you the confidence to move forward, even when you don't have all the answers. It's the kind of clarity that helps you stay grounded when the world is spinning around you. When you define success for yourself, you give yourself the greatest gift, the ability to create your own future. You take control of your destiny and you stop letting life happen to you. Instead, you become the architect of your own life, building something that reflects your true vision. And that is the most powerful thing anyone can do. The power of clarity is that it empowers you to take action, to stay focused, and to keep moving forward no matter what comes your way. So what does success look like for you in 2025? What are you willing to create? Take the time today to define it. Write it down. Make it real. Because when you do, you give yourself the chance to turn your dreams into tangible achievements. You give yourself the ability to shape your future, to lead with purpose, and to live a life that reflects who you are and what you truly want. We live in a world that often promises instant results, that tells us success is something that happens overnight. Social media, magazines, and even television sell us the idea that great accomplishments happen with a burst of inspiration or some magical moment. But the truth is, success doesn't happen like that. It's not a lightning strike, and it's certainly not a product of some singular grand event. It's the result of something far more subtle, far more consistent. Success is built not in the giant leaps, but in the small, seemingly insignificant steps we take every single day. Imagine an Olympic athlete. They don't wake up one day to find themselves standing on the podium draped in gold. That moment doesn't arrive out of the blue. It's the result of relentless training, of pushing themselves just a little harder each day. It's the dedication to the craft, to improving just 1% more than yesterday. Every single day, they show up and commit to doing just a little bit more. The power of those daily moments is what builds the champion. This principle isn't just reserved for athletes. It applies to all of us, no matter what our goals or aspirations may be. Whether you want to be healthier, build a thriving business, or cultivate stronger relationships, the path to success doesn't lie in a giant, all-encompassing change. It's found in the small victories, in those moments when you push yourself just a little bit further than you did the day before. There's a profound idea that James Clear talks about in his book, Atomic Habits. He says that if you can improve just 1% every day, by the end of the year, you'll be 37 times better than when you started. That's not 37% better, 37 times better. Think about that for a moment. If you commit to showing up every day, even if it's just a small effort, by the end of the year, you'll look back and be amazed at how far you've come. It's not about making huge, sweeping changes. It's about embracing the power of small daily wins. Most people make the mistake of trying to overhaul their entire lives overnight. They think they have to make a dramatic shift to change everything at once. And when that doesn't happen, they get discouraged and give up. But this is where the magic happens. Real transformation is built in those tiny incremental improvements. They accumulate over time, and before you know it, the person you were last year seems like a distant memory. What if, instead of attempting to completely reinvent yourself, you focused on making just one small improvement each day? Imagine what your life would look like if each day you did one thing that pushed you closer to your goal. It could be something simple, reading a chapter of a book, taking a 10-minute walk, making that one phone call you've been putting off. It doesn't matter how small the action is. It matters that you take that step every single day. And when you do, those small actions compound over time. Before you know it, you'll have made tremendous progress without feeling overwhelmed by the enormity of the task ahead. We often focus so much on the big picture, the end result, that we lose sight of the steps that will get us there. But think about this, a year from now, where do you want to be? You're going to get there, but the question is, how do you want to get there? And how do you look? And how do you act? Do you want to look back and wish you'd started sooner? Or do you want to look back and realize that every single day you were moving forward, no matter how small the steps seemed at the time? It all starts with deciding to take that first step, and then the next, and then the one after that. Every small win you achieve is a building block, stacking one on top of the other until you look back and see how far you've come. When you focus on the small wins, the big ones start to take care of themselves. It's not magic. It's consistency. It's a daily commitment to showing up, doing the work, and improving just a little bit more. So think about what you can do today, right after this speech, that will push you one step closer to your goal. It doesn't need to be a monumental task. In fact, it shouldn't be. If you try to take on too much, you risk burning out. But if you can focus on one small action, one tiny change, then you've set yourself on the path. It's not about perfection. It's not about achieving everything at once. It's about consistency. It's about doing something, anything that moves you in the right direction. And when you do that, when you take that small action, you're not just working toward your goal, you're building a habit. Habits are the foundation of success. The more consistent you are with those small daily actions, the more ingrained they become in your routine. What once felt like a challenge becomes second nature. And suddenly, you're achieving things you never thought possible, not because you did something huge, but because you did something small every day. You didn't try to overhaul your life, you simply improve by 1% each day. And that small improvement compounded over time. This is the power of the micro moment. It's the quiet decision you make when you decide to take action, when you choose to focus on the small things that add up. No single moment will define your success, but the collection of these small moments, the moments when you choose to push yourself just a little harder, just a little further, will change your life. So the next time you look at your goal, don't be daunted by the enormity of it. Instead, break it down into small, achievable steps, and then show up every day, no matter how small the action, and take that step. When you do, you'll be amazed at what you can accomplish. Success isn't a giant leap. It's the sum of small daily wins that build momentum and propel you forward. What's one thing you can do today to push yourself just a little closer to your goal? That's the power of small wins, and it's how you will ultimately achieve everything you set out to do. The key is in showing up, doing the work, and trusting the process. So let's start right now. What's your first small win today? Take that step and watch how it transforms your life. Your mindset is the lens through which you view the world. It's the filter that determines what you see, what you notice, and what you believe is possible. Your mindset is either your greatest asset or your biggest obstacle. And the difference between those who succeed and those who don't often comes down to one simple thing: focus. It's not about talent or intelligence. It's about what you choose to focus on, what you allow your mind to dwell on, and what you decide is worthy of your attention. Let's break this down. There's something called the reticular activating system, RAS, in your brain. It's a filter that controls what you notice. Imagine you're walking into a crowded room and someone tells you to look for all the red objects in the space. Suddenly, your mind shifts and you start to notice every single red item in the room. You weren't paying attention to them before, but now they're everywhere. You'll see red chairs, red cups, red clothes. You begin to spot things that you never would have noticed if your attention hadn't been directed there. Now, let me ask you a question. If I then ask you, did you notice anything blue? You might struggle. You weren't focused on blue, so it didn't even register in your brain. The room was filled with blue items, but because you weren't looking for them, you didn't see them. It's a simple example, but it highlights the incredible power your focus has over your perception of reality. This principle doesn't just apply to colors in a room. It applies to everything in your life, including your goals, your dreams, and your challenges. Think about your goals for a moment. What are you focused on? Are you focused on all the reasons you might fail, all the obstacles in your way, and all the things that could go wrong? If that's what you're focused on, your mind will start noticing those obstacles everywhere. You'll see every challenge as insurmountable, every setback as a confirmation that your goal is out of reach. And when your mind is focused on obstacles, it will feel paralyzed. It's like trying to drive a car while staring at the walls. The more you focus on them, the more you're likely to crash into them. On the other hand, when you shift your focus to opportunity, your mindset transforms. Suddenly, your brain starts looking for the ways forward, the paths to success, and the resources available to you. When you focus on opportunity, you begin to see solutions where others see problems. You notice people, situations, and possibilities that can help you move closer to your goal. It's not magic, it's how your brain works. When you train your mind to look for the opportunities, your brain will find them. But if you train it to look for reasons you won't succeed, that's exactly what you'll get. This is why mindset is so critical. It's not enough to just have a goal or a dream. You need to have the right mindset. The mindset that trains your brain to focus on the opportunities that will move you forward. It's about controlling your focus and choosing to direct it toward the things that will help you achieve your goals. Ask yourself right now, what are you focused on? Are you looking for reasons you'll fail, or are you training your brain to see the opportunities in front of you? Every day, you have the chance to decide where your focus goes. You can choose to focus on the obstacles, or you can choose to focus on the opportunities that lie just beyond them. The key to success is making that conscious decision to focus on the right things. Here's the thing about mindset. It doesn't just affect what you see, it also affects how you feel and how you act. If you focus on failure, you'll feel defeated, and your actions will reflect that. You might procrastinate, avoid challenges, or give up at the first sign of difficulty. But if you focus on opportunity, you'll feel motivated, and your actions will align with that energy. You'll take proactive steps, seek out solutions, and push through the challenges because you see them as part of the journey, not as insurmountable barriers. The great news is that you have the power to change your mindset at any time. You can choose to change where you focus, and in doing so, you can change the course of your life. It's not about being blind to the obstacles or pretending they don't exist. It's about choosing to focus on what you can control, your response, your actions, and your ability to find solutions. You may not have control over everything that happens to you, but you always have control over how you respond. And that response is shaped by your mindset. If you train your mind to see obstacles as temporary, as opportunities for growth, your resilience will grow. If you train your mind to see every setback as part of the process, you'll find strength in adversity. Take a moment and think about the biggest goal you have right now. What's standing in your way? Is it a lack of resources? Is it doubt? Is it fear of failure? Now, ask yourself, what if you could focus on the opportunities instead of the obstacles? What if, instead of seeing every challenge as a roadblock, you saw it as a stepping stone, as a chance to learn and grow? What if you saw every no as one step closer to a yes? You see, your mindset is not fixed. It's a muscle that can be trained. And just like any muscle, it gets stronger with practice. The more you consciously choose to focus on the opportunities, the more natural it becomes. The more you choose to look for solutions, the more your brain will train itself to find them. Your mind is an incredibly powerful tool, but it's up to you how you use it. You can choose to focus on the obstacles, or you can choose to focus on the opportunity. So take a moment to reflect. Are you seeing the opportunities in your life, or are you caught up in the obstacles? The choice is yours, and it's one that you can make right now. What you choose to focus on today will determine where you are tomorrow. Choose wisely, because your mindset is everything. It's your greatest asset, or it's the obstacle that holds you back. And the beauty of it is you have the power to choose. We live in a world that loves certainty. We love knowing that things will work out, that we'll succeed, and that everything will fall into place. We often wait for that moment, that feeling when we're sure enough to take action. We tell ourselves, I'll start when I feel ready, or when I have enough confidence, I'll go for it. But here's the truth. Confidence doesn't come before action, it comes from action. It's not something you have before you begin. It's something you build by starting, by stepping into the unknown, and by taking that first difficult step forward. Think about this. Jeff Bezos didn't start Amazon because he was absolutely certain it would succeed. He didn't have the perfect blueprint or a guarantee that his idea would change the world. He started because he had the courage to act. He started because he was willing to take a chance, even though he didn't have all the answers. Every great success story, every trailblazer, every person who's changed the world started with one thing: action. And that action was taken despite their doubts, despite the fear of failure, despite the unknown. The truth is, most of us wait. We wait for the perfect moment, for the stars to align, for everything to be just right before we take action. But here's the catch: the perfect moment is a myth. It doesn't exist. There is no perfect time to start, no perfect set of circumstances that will guarantee success. Waiting for everything to fall into place only keeps us stuck. It keeps us from moving forward. And in that waiting, we build more doubt, more fear, and more hesitation. The longer we wait, the more we convince ourselves that we're not ready, that we don't have what it takes, that the time just isn't right. But here's the reality: the only perfect time is now. Right now. Not tomorrow, not next year, not when you have more experience, more confidence, or more resources. Now. It's the courage to act, to begin, to take the first step before you feel ready, that separates those who achieve their dreams from those who simply wait for them to happen. It's the willingness to embrace uncertainty and make progress despite it. It's about showing up even when you don't have everything figured out, even when you don't feel prepared. Think about how many times you've told yourself that you'll start something once you feel more confident. Whether it's starting a new job, launching a business, pursuing a dream, or having a difficult conversation, how many times have you held back because you didn't feel ready? We've all been there. We've all waited for the perfect moment to start, only to find that the moment never comes. But what if the key to building that confidence was taking the first step, even when you didn't feel ready? It's easy to think that the successful people we admire had everything figured out before they started. But the truth is, they didn't. They took risks, they stepped into the unknown, and they acted in the face of uncertainty. They didn't have all the answers, but they started anyway. They knew that waiting for the perfect time would only hold them back. They understood that confidence is a byproduct of action, and in doing so, they proved that taking action, despite the fear, is what leads to growth and success. Starting before you feel ready isn't just about courage, it's about learning. It's about taking imperfect action and learning as you go. When you start, you don't need to know everything. You don't need to have the perfect plan. What you need is the willingness to take that first step. The courage to make progress, and the understanding that you'll figure things out along the way, you'll learn from your mistakes, you'll adjust your approach, and over time, you'll build confidence. But none of that can happen if you don't start. The fear of failure often holds us back. We think that if we take a risk and fail, it'll be the end of the road. But failure isn't the opposite of success, it's part of success. Failure is a lesson, a necessary stepping stone on the way to growth. And the only way to fail is to not try at all. If you wait for the fear to go away, you'll be waiting forever. The fear won't disappear, it'll just become a reason to hold yourself back. But if you act in spite of that fear, if you step forward even though you don't feel ready, you'll start building momentum and you'll find yourself moving closer to your goals, even if it's one step at a time. So what are you waiting for? What's holding you back? What's that thing you've been putting off? Waiting for the perfect time to start. The truth is, there is no perfect time. There will always be uncertainties, challenges, and doubts, but you can choose to act anyway. You can choose to take that first step, even if it's a small one, and trust that as you move forward, the confidence will come. It's time to stop waiting. The perfect time is now. Your dreams, your goals, your aspirations, they're waiting for you to take that first step. And once you do, you'll see that the courage to act wasn't something you had to wait for. It's something you build by acting. So take that step. Don't wait for everything to be perfect, because it never will be. Start now and let your journey unfold. Let's be honest, 2025 isn't going to be a perfect year. There will be challenges. There will be moments when everything feels like it's going wrong. You'll face setbacks, obstacles that seem insurmountable, and days when it feels easier to quit than to keep going. It's part of the journey. But here's the thing that separates those who succeed from those who don't. It's not the setbacks that define you, it's how you respond to them. Think about some of the most iconic figures in history. Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team. Oprah Winfrey was fired from her first job as a television reporter. J.K. Rowling's first book, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, was rejected by 12 publishers before it finally found a home. These are people who, at one point or another, faced what seemed like the end of the road. They could have easily given up, thrown in the towel, and walked away. But they didn't. They chose to keep going. They chose to respond to their setbacks, not with defeat, but with resilience. Resilience is one of the most powerful qualities a person can have. It's the ability to bounce back when things don't go as planned, to get up after you've been knocked down, and to keep moving forward despite the odds. It's not about avoiding failure. It's about how you use failure. Failure doesn't have to be the end. It can be the beginning of something new, something even better. Every setback is simply a setup for a comeback. Every time you fall, you have the opportunity to rise stronger, more determined, and more prepared for the next challenge. Resilience isn't something you're born with. It's something you develop. It's a skill, a mindset that you can cultivate through practice, through experience, and through perseverance. It's about understanding that failure isn't a reflection of who you are. It's just a part of the process. When things go wrong, it doesn't mean you failed as a person. It simply means that the road to success isn't always smooth. The bumps and detours are part of what makes the journey worthwhile. If you want to achieve anything worthwhile, you're going to face setbacks. It's inevitable. There will be days when things don't go according to plan, when you feel like you're running into a wall, when it seems like the universe is working against you. But the key is to recognize that setbacks are not permanent. And more importantly, they are opportunities for growth. It's in those moments of struggle that you learn the most about yourself, your strengths, and your ability to persevere. Imagine if Michael Jordan had given up after being cut from his high school team. Imagine if Oprah had walked away after her firing. Imagine if J.K. Rowling had stopped writing after her rejections. None of us would have the pleasure of witnessing their greatness. They didn't let failure define them. They let it fuel them. They used each setback as an opportunity to prove themselves, to learn, and to push forward. It's not easy. It's not supposed to be easy. But when you choose to keep going in the face of adversity, you build resilience. You build strength that no one can take away from you. And every time you get back up, you come back more powerful than before. The road might be long and the obstacles might be many, but it's how you respond that will determine your success. When you fall, don't stay down. Don't allow the setback to define you or hold you back. Get up, dust yourself off, adjust your approach, keep going. Every successful person you look up to has faced rejection, failure, and disappointment. But what sets them apart is that they didn't let those moments stop them. They used them as fuel to keep going, to learn from their mistakes, and to become better. The power of resilience is in your ability to continue, even when the path ahead seems unclear. It's about having the courage to keep moving forward, one step at a time, even when you don't feel like it. It's about believing in yourself enough to know that setbacks are not permanent roadblocks. They're simply detours on the road to your success. And here's the best part. Resilience isn't just about bouncing back. It's about growing stronger with each challenge you face. It's about becoming more adaptable, more resourceful, and more determined. Each time you get knocked down and get back up, you prove to yourself that you are capable of overcoming anything that comes your way. You build a mental toughness that makes the next setback easier to handle. You develop an unwavering belief in your ability to weather any storm. So as we look ahead to 2025, remember this: setbacks are not the end of the story. They're just part of the process. You will face challenges, you will fall, but how you respond is what will define you. Don't give up. Don't let failure stop you. Embrace it, learn from it, and rise stronger than before. Every setback is a setup for a comeback, and when you rise from the ashes, you'll be stronger, wiser, and more determined to reach your dreams. Your future is not some distant idea. It's happening right now in this very moment. Not tomorrow, not someday, right now. Each decision you make today is writing the story of who you will be tomorrow. You have the power to shape your future, but the question is, will you take that power and use it? Will you step into the future you want, or will you let it happen to you? You just spent the last 11 minutes listening to strategies, to ideas, and to thoughts that could help you make 2025 your best year. But here's the thing: knowing what to do isn't enough. We all know what we're supposed to do. We all have the knowledge. The difference between those who achieve their dreams and those who don't isn't the information, it's the action. It's the courage to take the first step, to put plans into motion, and to make things happen, no matter how uncertain the road ahead might seem. So, I'm giving you a challenge, a simple but powerful challenge that can change everything. In the next 11 minutes, you have the opportunity to decide the course of your life. I'm not talking about the next 11 minutes of this talk. I'm talking about your next 11 minutes after this conversation ends. The next 11 minutes are yours. It's in those moments when you make decisions that will move you closer to the life you want. Here's what I want you to do. Step 1, write down one clear goal. One goal that excites you. One goal that scares you just a little, but also fills you with a sense of purpose. It doesn't matter how big or small it is, as long as it's meaningful to you. This goal will be the anchor that keeps you moving forward, no matter what comes your way. Write it down. When you write it down, you give it life. It becomes real. It becomes something that you will work for, something that will guide you through the noise and distractions of everyday life. Step 2, identify one small step you can take today. I know you're thinking, but I need to plan everything first. I need to get all the pieces in place. But here's the truth. Nothing happens until you take action. That small step, no matter how small it feels, is the most important part of the process. It's the first domino that sets everything else in motion. What's one thing you can do today to move toward that goal? It could be something as simple as sending an email, making a phone call, or even just researching the first step. The key is to act. Small, consistent actions build momentum, and momentum is everything. Step 3, shift your focus. Stop looking at the obstacles. We're all guilty of focusing too much on the roadblocks, the challenges, and the things that stand in our way. We've all been there. We look at the mountain ahead and wonder how we'll ever climb it. But what if, instead of focusing on the mountain, you focused on the path? What if you stopped seeing the obstacles and started seeing the opportunities? When you change your focus, you change everything. You begin to see doors where you once saw walls. You begin to notice solutions instead of problems. Shifting your focus isn't about ignoring reality. It's about choosing to see what's possible instead of what's impossible. Choose to see opportunities, not obstacles. Your mind will follow where you lead it. Step 4, take action. Even if you don't feel ready. This is one of the hardest steps. We wait for that moment when we feel fully prepared, fully confident, fully capable. But that moment doesn't come. You're never going to feel completely ready. The perfect time is a myth. The best time to start is right now. Action creates momentum. Momentum builds confidence. Confidence leads to results. So even if you don't feel ready, take that first step. It doesn't need to be a giant leap. Just move forward. When you take action, you'll learn, you'll adapt, and you'll build the confidence you need along the way. Step 5, when setbacks come, use them as stepping stones. This one is crucial. There will be setbacks. There will be moments when things don't go as planned, when you feel like giving up. But remember this, setbacks aren't the end. They are simply part of the process. Every setback is a lesson. Every failure is a stepping stone towards success. When things don't go as you hope, don't quit. Don't let it define you. Use it as fuel. Learn from it. Adjust. Keep going. The road to success isn't a straight line. It's filled with twists, turns, and bumps, but each bump is an opportunity to become stronger, more resilient, and more prepared for the next challenge. 2025 is coming, whether you're ready or not. Time doesn't wait for anyone. The question is, will you step into it with purpose? Will you be the one who looks back at the end of this year and says, I did it. I took action. I pushed through the fear. I embraced the challenges, and I made it my best year yet. The choice is yours. You have the power to make it happen, but it starts now. So as we close, I challenge you to take action. Don't wait. Don't let the fear or uncertainty hold you back. Write down your goal. Take that first small step. Shift your